Welcome to Daily Devo. I'm Pat. Today we're going to talk about the fact that sometimes God asks us to do difficult things. This month in our Daily Devo, we've been doing character studies of people who spent some time in the wilderness. It's so applicable to you and me because who among us has not experienced those times of desperation, of loneliness, or questions? Some of you may be there right now. Today we're going to begin looking at a guy named Jonah. I love this short book. In fact, if you have some time today, maybe sit down and read it. It's just 4 chapters long. And it starts this way, Jonah chapter 1, verse 1. The Lord gave this message to Jonah, son of that guy, I can't pronounce his name. Get up and go to the great city of Nineveh. Announce my judgment against it because I have seen how wicked its people are. Seems like a simple command. Jonah, get up, go to Nineveh. But as we're going to find out in a moment, it was simple, but not easy. Look at verse 3. But Jonah got up and went in the opposite direction. Okay, we could do so much with that little phrase. He went in the opposite direction. In fact, I myself could spend a month telling you stories from my own life of when I went in the opposite direction of what God told me to do and how it didn't end well for me. But today I want to focus on another part of this story. You see, the book begins with this simple phrase, the Lord gave this message to Jonah, get up, go to the great city of Nineveh. We may miss the significance of this command without understanding a bit of history. See, Nineveh was one of the most wicked cities that has ever existed on this planet. If I unpacked for us right now the sexual sins of this city, if I unpacked the violence that these people of Nineveh did, we would be disgusted. Once we understand what a God-forsaken place Nineveh was, we understand a key principle now. What God asks is not always what we would choose. God said to Jonah, go to Nineveh. What God asks is not always what we would choose. Today, God may ask you and me to do some things or say some things or choose a different attitude, and it may not be what we would choose. He may ask us to forgive that person or pray through that bitterness. He may ask us to use a different word when describing that coworker, and it may not be what we would choose. The first few verses of Jonah remind us that what God asks is not always what we would choose. The question is, will we choose to do it? Or will we choose to go in the opposite direction, like Jonah did? Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the story, going in the opposite direction did not go well for Jonah, and it won't go well for you and me. What God asks is not always what we would choose, but let's just agree to do it. What God asks is not always what we would choose, but let's just agree to do it anyways.